everyone, welcome to a sun-drenched edition of Geekonomics. I'm Mark, he's Brian. I have a sunburn on my face, and it hurts.
No, why didn't you put sunscreen on?
I did put sunscreen on, and then it wore off, and I didn't have time to put sunscreen back on again.
Okay. First of all, you didn't go swimming. You generally sunscreen, if you're not swimming, it should last a couple hours.
I was outside for a long period of time.
Well, where were you?
I was at a go-kart race in New Hampshire.
You were racing?
I was organizing and in charge of the whole thing.
You put it together?
Yeah, it was one of my races in my series I run.
You run a series?
I run a go-kart series, yeah.
You put the whole thing together. You got everybody to come down.
Yeah.
Or you just filmed it?
No, well, we filmed it as well. But I run a series called the Northern Senior Champ Kart Series. It's a 5-race series with 2 races in New Hampshire, 2 races in Connecticut, and 1 in New York. We had 20 karts show up yesterday for our race. So it was a very long day. And I just didn't have time. I was too busy running around solving problems and issues that I just didn't even think about it until late in the day. And I was like, wow, my face hurts.
Yeah, I'll bite you in the ass, Mark. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. It's the first time I've gotten a sunburn in a long time. So I'm like, it's also happens you don't get out outside a lot because you're working inside. I don't have like that base, it's just but it'll only be for a couple days and it'll be fine.
So are people coming up to you and just hitting you in the head going, oh,
no, like people aren't jerks like you would.
When you get a sunburn on your back and nobody normally touches you, they go, hey, buddy. So Claire, you walk through the door and Claire just goes, hey, husband, right in the face.
Hitting me in the face. Like, why would you get someone in the face for anything?
Because you got a sunburn. That's what people do.
I don't know who you hang out with. You have terrible friends.
I know. I have terrible friends.
I would hit you in the back if you had a sunburn.
No, what I'm trying to get across is,
does Allison hit you in the face if you get a sunburn? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to say is,
you around. Hey,
when someone,
how's the sunburn feel?
When someone gets a tattoo or does have a sunburn and it's under their shirt and nobody knows about it, they come into work.
It's under your shirt. How are people supposed to know you don't have like a sign on you?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Nobody touches you, but the moment you have a new tattoo or your sunburn, nobody knows. You come in and they go, it's that one person just this slaps
happens
in that
to find
area
that spot,
and just goes, hey, how's it going? And you're like, oh.
I mean, this is probably the best time to get a sunburn because with all the social distancing and everything, no one wants to really like get near you.
Slap you in the face.
Yeah, no one's really hitting people or touching them on the back or anything.
Well, I'm glad you survived, Mark.
Yeah, it was good. We had a good turnout. Day went pretty well. So next one's next month at Stafford.
Wow. Stafford Speedway.
Stafford Speedway.
Well, I got a sunburn last year. We put sunscreen on. We went to the beach.
Yeah.
We should have brought an umbrella because that sun is strong as all hell.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you kind of like, and I was outside and it was like windy. It's like a mix of windburn and sunburn. I get windburn more than I get sunburn, really, which is like, I don't know why, but I'm very susceptible to windburn for some reason.
Yeah, well, the sun's just getting stronger, and if you're not used to it, that does hit you pretty hard.
Yeah.
But wear that sunscreen, baby.
Yeah, I'm all aloed up, so I'm good to go.
Yeah. So, Mark, how was your week other than that?
Pretty good. Watched What If. We'll talk about that probably later on in the show. Just a regular week, nothing crazy. Didn't really watch any big movies or anything. Didn't really check anything out in that way. Just a lot of work stuff going on. So the dog days of summer, as the kids would say.
Oh yeah. For me,
how about yourself?
For me, a couple of cool things. Well, we had free comic book day on Saturday.
Oh yes, yeah, no, I did do that Saturday. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I went to Matt's on Friday with my canned goods. I donated a bunch of food to him. I avoided the crowd. I didn't want to go in on Saturday. He let me just pick what I wanted when I was there. And they didn't have the tick, so really wasn't much I wanted.
The zombie hideout had the tick.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
I almost grabbed it because I wasn't sure if you had it or you were going to have it. But you said you got your books ready, so I was like, oh, you already got it.
I'll find it. Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, you know what? Saturday, it was still hot out on Saturday.
It's just a weird day for comic book day. Like, I don't think many people knew it was coming.
Well, Matt's promoted the hell out of it, so I'm sure he had a decent amount. Yeah, he already had a bunch of food donated to him.
Yeah.
So, but they split. It's 2 days. Last year it was 2 days. This year, again, would be in October. It's usually around Halloween. Is the second one.
Yeah.
Which is the lesser known of the two. The big one is in May.
Yeah, it's usually.
But now this one,
my anniversary is usually comic book day.
Yeah, it's usually that weekend, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
it's free comic book day. Now your anniversary is around the same time. May the Force be with you. It's all that same weekend. So I did pick up Sweet Tooth Volume 2.
Oh.
Wow, I read this yesterday. I read the whole thing yesterday. So I just pick up a new volume every week now. Wow, really good. I want to continue until at least volume 5 and then start watching the show. This has made me really interested in the show. What happened in volume 2? It is crazy. It is really good. It is really good.
Have you gotten to the part with the animals?
Yes. Okay. So this is Captivity.
I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say it without saying
he gets in the comic. Don't ruin the show for me. But in the comic, he gets brought there. He thinks it's going to be something else. The guy who helped rescue him, tricked him because he wanted something in return, and they're going to experiment on him. And there's a bunch of other kids like him or people like him that are being experimented on, looking for a cure. You learn more about the guy's back. What's his name again?
The doctor?
No, the main guy, the guy who rescues Sweet Tooth.
I just know this big guy.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah.
You learn about his backstory, which is really interesting. Gus is Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
Shepherd?
Yeah, Shepherd. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Shepherd. It's weird because it's a Jepperd. So it's you learn about his backstory, which is really interesting. You get the doctor. You'll learn more about where the facility is all about, what's going on in the world. A lot of world building in this volume. So I'm digging it. So it's my new weekly thing. I buy a new volume.
Going off that, I think the first season is the first volume, I would say.
There's not much happening in the first volume, though.
Yeah.
Does the whole show just end with him being brought to the cages, and then the show ends that way?
I'll neither confirm nor deny.
Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know
anything. Yeah.
I want to watch the show. Yeah. So anyway, I highly recommend Sweet Tooth.
They might also jump around volumes too, so I don't know.
I'm sure.
Because there's a whole situation with like another group of kids. So I don't know if that's in the first volume or not. So I don't know what's in the first volume. So
I'll listen. When I get to volume 5, I'm going to watch the show, and I will confirm all your speculations.
So sometime in September, we'll have a review of season 1 of Sweet Tooth.
Yeah,
it's been out for 4 months now.
Well, there is so much content out there, dude. It's kind of overwhelming. Sweet Tooth, it came out and it talked about for like a week, and then that's it. Nobody talked about it again.
It's a Netflix show, so they come out, they talk about it for a week, and then it's on to the next.
It did get confirmed. Jeff Lemire confirmed season 2 will be happening, which is fantastic.
it definitely deserved a season 2. It was really good.
Yeah. So, I will watch that. And then you had mentioned that Why the Last Man was coming out Friday. I went to Hulu.
I
It
just
is
saw
not
the
coming out
13th and
Friday.
thought it was August, and I got excited.
So I watched the trailer. Trailer looks really good.
Yes.
It comes out in September.
Yes.
So I can brush up and maybe try to reread the graphic series because I haven't read it in a long time. So I might do that. And get prepared for that because that's definitely a show I would love to do talk about weekly with you.
Yeah,
if we get into it. So, what else, Mark? The Back for Blood beta dropped on Xbox and PS and PlayStation over the weekend. It was I checked it out on PS5. It's a lot of fun. People who love Left 4 Dead. I never played Left 4 Dead. I remember John and all those guys played it. I was never into it, but this game was a lot of fun. You're 4 players playing the campaign in a zombie apocalypse. It is a lot of fun. Characters are really cool. I'm not a big multiplayer fan, but it's gonna be on Game Pass when it drops in October. So, and it's crossplay. So I could play on Xbox and play with people on PlayStation, or play on PlayStation and play with people on Xbox, which is really cool.
Cross does that means, yeah.
Yeah. So that game's a lot of fun. I did enjoy the beta. So it might be a get for me, which is I don't say that very often for multiplayer games. And I watched What If, which we'll talk about shortly. Yes. But that's about it for me, Mark. I got news. If you're ready for news,
I'm ready for the news, man. Hit me with the news.
Hit me with the news.
With your news shot.
All right. So over the weekend, we had the movie Free Guy, which I really want to see.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait it out. I think I am gonna wait it out on the movies for a while. But this movie opened only in the theater, and it opened at 28 million.
Won the weekend.
28 million, which is funny because if you go back and think about pre-pandemic, that those are bad numbers.
Those are terrible numbers.
The terrible numbers.
Like that would even get you out of that would even get you in the top 10 about a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, you could be in the top 10, but you'd probably be like, if a movie opened up to 28 million, not a pandemic, it would be considered a flop.
Yeah.
But it opened up 28 million. Suicide Squad opened up last week, I think, at 26 million, and that was on HBO. So that's pretty good that you could watch it at home and it still made 26 million.
Yeah.
Free Guy. So it did very well, but still, I mean, I don't know. These numbers they're good for a pandemic, but are they good enough are these numbers going to go lower as we go down the rest of the year, or are they going to creep up? I don't know. So it's interesting, but I think the coolest news that came out of Free Guy is that Disney confirmed they're going to make a sequel. Ryan Reynolds tweeted on Saturday, and after 3 years massaging Free Guy as an original IP movie, Disney confirmed today they officially want a sequel. Woohoo! #irony. And the director, Sean Levy, responded with, "Yep." So that was a 20th Century Fox movie that got mushed in with the Disney merger. It was one of the last Fox movies, and now Disney's saying they're willing to make a sequel.
Okay, so well, here you go. Just kind of just going off relatively last times of the box office numbers. August of 2019, around the same time in 2019, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw came out. It opened week of August 11th, with its second week out, it was a $25 million weekend.
What was the numbers?
25 million.
Hobbs and Shaw, but that Hobbs and Shaw didn't do very well.
Yeah. Well, the first week it was 60 million that it came out.
Yeah, 60. That's pretty big.
2019 in July, Spider-Man Far From Home opened at a $92 million weekend.
Yeah, those are the old numbers.
Yeah.
Of a blockbuster.
The July 21st, week of July 21st, 2019, Lion King opened with a $191 million weekend.
Yeah.
August 18th, which would roughly be around the same time, 2019, Good Boys was the winner of the weekend and took in $21 million.
That's 21 million. Yeah. So
yeah. So 28 million is not terrible.
No, it's funny. Average. You go back to the 90's, and those are the kind of numbers you were getting.
This is 2019, so it's pretty average actually.
No, I know, but like when you got Spider-Man numbers, that became all of a sudden.
Yeah. Like nothing. Like only other major movies that came out that year, It Chapter 2 opened with a $91 million weekend. Joker opened with a $96 million weekend. Frozen 2 opened with a $130 million weekend.
Jesus.
Star Wars Rise of Skywalker with a $177 million weekend. Avengers Endgame was 2019 that opened with a $357 million weekend.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4, 120. Glass had a $40 million weekend. Captain Marvel had a $153 million weekend. So, yeah, but average of like regular movies, like that opened on non-big movie weekends.
Yeah.
Free Guy would have probably been average. It would have been around that same.
Yeah. It probably would have done more. I think Free Guy
would have. Yeah, it would
more.
have definitely been in a higher range, but that's, not terrible.
No, it's fine.
It seems bad because of the highness of the bigger movies.
Yeah.
But unless you're like a big franchise, you don't really get those huge numbers anymore.
Right. So I think the pandemic's kind of allowed some of these movies to breathe, that, what, maybe they're not getting the success they're getting more success now because there's not that much competition right now in the theater.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel, Shang-Chi star Sumi Liu responds to Disney CEO's comments, "We are not an experiment." So if you're not familiar, the CEO Disney had said they're experimenting with Shang-Chi by not putting it on Disney Plus. This is going to be the first MCU movie that's going to be theater only.
Yeah.
It will be going to Disney Plus in 45 days from release, free for everyone.
Yeah, just like regular.
And this comes out in September. But this is going to be the first big release that's not on Disney Plus for a premium price, because we've been getting premium prices for all the Disney big movies.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, really.
Since the Scarlett Johansson situation.
Well, since Mulan. Mulan was the first one. But
the reason for changing it back, I think, is because of the Scarlett Johansson thing.
It could be. They don't want another lawsuit on their hands. Definitely could be. So this movie comes out in September 3rd.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see it in theater, but depending on things, I will just wait maybe by 45 days and watch it on Disney Plus. I mean, Spider-Man, I'd love to see it, but I'm wondering, the reason we haven't gotten a trailer is them considering about moving it again.
It already got pushed, didn't it?
No.
I think it did.
No, there hasn't been no official word on anything. There's speculation, rumors, but there's been no official word. No official word. people are speculating that the reason we haven't gotten a trailer is because they could be thinking about moving, which I don't blame them, because if we're going back with the variant out there and people are still not willing to go to the theater, but it's not.
Yeah, it's still slated for the
2021. And
December.
Someone from Marvel tweeted out that they are still on they're still on their goal of having it out in 2021. So
yes,
because there was a lot of rumors, but there's been anything. Yes. I don't know. Anything can happen. Anything can change, because that movie comes out in November, December. So, and Internals comes out in November, and Spider-Man comes out in December, I think. For me personally, I will wait out from now until Spider-Man. And if Spider-Man's my next big movie to go to the theater and we're doing better by then, I will be so excited and I'll see Spider-Man in the theater. But I think I'm going to wait, I think I'm Shang-Chi, I'll wait. Internals, I'll wait. Spider-Man, if we're doing better as a country and I feel comfortable going, I'll go. But if not, I'll just wait. I don't know. Going to the theater wearing a mask the whole time doesn't seem like a fun for me. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's still.
I don't know. I mean, it's been great that Agawam has had less people in it, but these are bigger movies. There's going to be more people. You want to have popcorn. You want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I mean, the solution is just to, rent out your own theater and just have your friends there, kind of thing. But
yeah,
that's kind of an interesting scenario.
I don't know if I don't know if Agawam's doing that right now, because they're trying to.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see how it all works out. That's
but see, also I'm thinking about this. If I go back to work in September,
which I don't think is happening.
I am. I'm going
as of right now.
I don't know what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I go to the theater and it's a packed house and I have my mask off, but then I go to work and I don't know, I'm taking a chance there. I'm taking a chance.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I was going to
You're also kind of taking the same chance going into a town meeting in a small room, setting up in the town or being in there at the same time with other people.
No one's in that room though. No one's in that room when we set up.
Well, I know, I'm just saying. So I mean, it's kind of,
and everyone's vaccinated. So we're doing town meetings again. We set up, no one's in there.
Yeah.
They do their meeting. We're not in that room with them. They're all vaccinated. We're vaccinated. My thing is, if I'm in a crowded movie theater for a big movie, I don't know everybody's vaccinated. You don't know if everyone's vaccinated.
I mean, do you see the thing over the weekend with Live Nation is going to make it mandatory? You have to have a vaccination card or a negative test.
It's great
to attend any events.
Honestly, I was hesitant to go to Weezer up until I read you had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I told Allison, I'm like, I don't know if I trust people enough right now.
Yeah.
So, also, this is actually Lollapalooza. It was going to be, oh my God, this is going to be a super spreader event.
Yeah.
It was not. It was not, because of you had to be vaccinated to go or a COVID test. There's only been 200 positive COVID cases that came out of Lollapalooza. And that's a small percentage.
It doesn't mean they got it at Lollapalooza either. It could have been on their way to Lollapalooza, stopping somewhere on their way to Lollapalooza, on their way back from Lollapalooza.
But they were all people from Chicago, and they said a couple of them were from out of state, but only 200 positive cases out of the 100 million people who went.
They had there,
so that's a good thing. That's a good sign. It wasn't a super spreader event. They thought it was going to be a big wave of COVID after that, and it wasn't. So I think what Live Nation's doing is very smart. I mean, New York is already saying you can't go to a movie, you can't go to eat, you can't go to the gym without showing a card that you got vaccinated. So, I mean, Connecticut, every area now is going back to masks. I went to real quickly, like last month, the end of last month, I was like, dude, I'm going everywhere. Barely no one's wearing a mask. This past week, I went to Target. Everyone was wearing a mask that was working there. And majority of people had masks on in there. Comparatively, a month ago when I went there, barely anybody had a mask on. I went to Costco. It went from like I was in a minority wearing a mask. Now the majority of people were wearing masks. So I think everyone's masking up again, which is great that they are.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. We've come so far.
Yeah, I know. It's also different. It's stranger for me too because of the racing situation. It's outside, so there's
I feel comfortable
a lot
outside.
More. It's kind of like you enter a weird world where there's no masks. Everyone's kind of just wandering around, hanging out like normal.
Yeah,
it's like a step into like another dimension, kind of, and then like afterwards you're back to like your normal self again, where you have to remember like, oh yeah, I gotta wear a mask when I go places because.
So I mean, look at one of the announcers got COVID in the beginning of all this. Remember?
Yeah,
a friend of ours, and that was scary.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. But I think more people are vaccinated now, so it feels good.
Yeah.
But we got to be careful still.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I think personally, I got to see how these numbers weigh out to see if I decide to go to anything. I would love to see Spider-Man in the theater. I think for me, that is my personal goal. I hope I can. If we're doing better, I hope by then we are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I got for news, Marcus.
All right.
The Walking Dead premiered last night. That was
did it? Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That happened.
All right. Good for Walking Dead.
And yep, that's pretty much it. Oh, I want to bring this up. I did watch the did I bring this up last week? I don't think I did. The Darkside of the 90's on Vice.
No, you brought it up on the chat with Rocky and them, but that was about it.
Oh, highly recommend. It's on Vice. If you got Hulu, you got Vice. You can watch it at whatever platform has Vice. The Darkside of the 90's. We watched the Beanie Baby episode. Wow. I thought I knew about Beanie Babies. Holy crap. I did not know about Beanie Babies.
It got weird there for a moment with the Beanie Babies. It was like
people quit their jobs.
Yeah.
And were just supporting themselves on selling Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fun watch. And the guy he was like a crazy Willy Wonka. The guy was crazy. There's one about the Viper Room, which was where River Phoenix had passed away, but it goes through the whole history of the Viper Room, which is interesting. I didn't know much about it. So that was a good episode. They just put out the grunge scene that dropped on Thursday, and then we watched one about TV for teens. They talked about all the 90210, Party of Five, all that stuff.
Melrose Place.
Yeah. And then they did trash television, which is Jerry Springer and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Crazy
Ricky
episode.
Lake, all those.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's such a good, they're about 40 minutes each. I mean, they're great.
Yeah. To get Claire and we can watch those.
Claire would love it. She likes that kind of stuff. I mean, after watching Woodstock 99, this is like the perfect...
Oh yeah, Woodstock 99 was a tough watch too. That was a rough one.
This is I mean, the Viper Room one is depressing.
We did watch the speaking of that, going off of it, we did on Netflix. They have the Malice at the Palace. Was the documentary about the brawl that happened at the NBA game between the Pacers and the Pistons back in the early 2000s.
I know
the guy where the players ran into the stands and were fighting the fans.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they do like a really like in-depth like documentary about it, like how it all happened. Like
why was that?
Well, because it was like it was just all just kind of just blamed on the players.
Yeah.
To start the whole thing. But it was really like one of the fans threw like a beer across,
I remember,
and like it hit one of the players, and it goes into like the players, like how the teams were put together, like how the Pacers team was put together, and how like the players that were put together on that team all kind of had like different issues, but they weren't like as a as individuals, it wasn't the big issues, but when they were put together, it turned into bigger issues.
Yeah.
And how like Ron Artest, who's now Meta World Peace, had like actually had like psychological issues and was like in therapy and had like depression and anxiety and like was really like weighing on him at this time. And it was like at like a boiling point for him. And it just happened, like this whole thing happened, and then like it delved into like the fans and their like how it all like escalated the way it did and everything, and shows all the different angles that you didn't see, like you never seen before, and all this stuff. It was very interesting and very good. I would suggest if you're a sports fan, you would enjoy it, and if not, you probably still enjoy it. But
are we coming to a point where any little tiny thing that's happened, we have to make a documentary about it now? I feel like we're getting there.
Well, I mean, that's documentaries are. You make us think about any little thing at this point. But I think it was just, this was great because it told the story of the like how it affected the players, not only directly after, but like it's like almost 20 years after the fact at this point, and how it's still affecting them now. Like one of the guys is like still has like issues, like doesn't like want to talk about the place, like doesn't want to look at the video, doesn't want to see it, doesn't want to talk about it. And like it's the first time he's talked about it in a long time, and like it was really interesting to see. Like it was more it wasn't even so much a sports documentary as it was just like a psyche documentary, like how like one event can change your whole life kind of thing. Like one player was like trajectory was like rising to like superstardom in the NBA, and this one game, one moment in his career basically just like tanked his whole career basically, and he like didn't like recover from it. Like his career basically just stagnated at that point.
Wow.
So it's crazy. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, and how like the NBA handled it.
Probably poorly, if I remember.
Yes, they did handle it poorly, yeah. But it's just, so it talks about that and everything. So, but I would suggest anyone checking it out. It's on Netflix. It's Untold. I guess it's a new series they're going to start doing, delving into sports controversies, is what it seems like. I don't know. It's the first one I've ever seen of, but they acted like there was a whole bunch of them that they're going to do. So the opening is all different sports. So that's what made me think they're going to do like,
they'll do other.
Yeah, they're going to do all different things. So I think this is like one of the first ones. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it is. We are getting to a point. You know, it made me think though. I'm watching, the Darkside of the 90's, and I was like, man, I really, really miss VH1's. I love the 70's. I love the 80's. I love the 90's. Oh my God, I really wish.
We have friends from Enfield who were in I Love the 90's.
Did we? Who?
Yeah, the Last Good Night. The boys from Renata. We're in I Love the 90's.
Oh, pictures. Didn't they have that song "Pictures of You"?
Yes,
they were. Yeah. But I miss those VH1 specials so much, and they would like when they're like, oh, we're gonna do I Love the 90's. They would have one every night or every Wednesday. Yeah. Oh,
it's like Vice is doing like the anti version of that though. Like everything Vice does, it's the dark side of the dark side of wrestling, the dark side of football, the dark side of the 90's.
I know,
the dark side of your lunch.
Pretty much. I agree with you.
We want to poo-poo everything that was fun for you when you were younger.
Well, yeah, they're telling a side of it I didn't know, but like, yeah, I really want. I love the decades to come back.
They haven't done any since the 2000s, right? That was the last one.
It was so funny because they were so popular. I Love the 90's. I remember it was not even 20. It was like
2009. I think they did it. I Love the 2000s.
Yeah, it was like 2006 or 7, and they started doing 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, and they stopped. because I feel like time
weren't far enough away.
Yeah, like we
like now would be a good time to do I Love the 2000s.
Yeah, bring it back, baby.
Yeah,
get Michael Ian Black on the horn, get like all the original cast that were on there, man, and come back. I love
Interview Smash Mouth, all those bands that were popular back then.
Yeah, I really want to find these so I can rewatch them. I don't know where they live. You can't
probably YouTube.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the whole episode.
I mean, honestly, the sad part I think about it, probably on Paramount Plus.
I can Google it, but I'm not getting Paramount Plus for it.
I know. And I think they're also doing Behind the Music on Paramount Plus. New seasons.
It's funny because those are great, but I can go to YouTube and watch pretty much anything like that. So
yeah,
I used to love Behind the Music. So
I know Claire's working Behind the Music. Yeah, I used to be. I was like, I don't want to.
Those things are great. Whatever. And they got to the point where they were covering bands that nothing really happened.
It was like the Behind the Music Babyface, and it was like Babyface made music. He made a lot of music.
I know they're like
okay, cool.
Like they'll cover like a band and barely anything big happens. You just watch the half hour of them just, I don't know. They got to the point where they ran out of bands. I think now they have more bands to go into now. So you run out of things to talk about after a while.
Exactly, like this podcast.
We don't even know what's going on.
Don't anymore.
So what if?
Speaking of things to talk about, last week was the debut episode of What If.
Yeah,
you got double drinks there. That's impressive. You got that going on.
Coffee and water. I just
dehydrated or something. You need You're right there.
This is vodka.
This is vodka.
This is the chaser.
Actually, the other one should be the vodka. The other one should be the chaser.
Yeah.
What if? Marvel's What If? They took the robot from Westworld and made him the Watcher.
The robot?
He's the robot. The doctor who has the end of the series. They find out. So he finds.
Don't tell me. I haven't watched.
You're gonna forget. What do you care?
No, me and Austin talked about watching Westworld, so we might.
Oh man,
we might jump into that show.
Oh God. Okay.
You
have. I've told you before.
What?
We've had this conversation multiple times. You have a 2-year limit. After 2 years, if you don't watch a show, I can talk about it. I'm not going to not talk about things for 2 years.
We never talked about that.
Oh, I'm giving this is a new thing for you.
No.
If it's after 2 years, the limit's gone and you can't.
I just take out my ears.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, I didn't know how Sopranos ended. Don't talk about it. The show came out 15 years ago.
Westworld hasn't. Westworld's still on.
Westworld's not on anymore. It's been off the air for 2 years.
Don't they have a new season coming out?
No.
Let's look. Let me look this up.
They had 3 seasons and that was it.
Let's see.
3 seasons and done.
Well, that's kind of cool if that's the truth, because
it is the truth. It was too expensive to make more than 3 seasons. It was like 10 million an episode.
I hate this burst your bubble because season 4 starts in 2022.
What?
Yep.
I did not know this. This is news to me.
Yeah.
How?
Season 4 starts in 2022. It's on IMDb,
season 3,
baby.
The way it ended, that didn't need a season 4.
Well, it's getting one. Anyway, I hope to start watching that.
Well, the last season was like 2018, wasn't it? Or 19?
I can tell you.
Season 3?
Yeah, don't forget. No, season 3 was in 2020.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's how long this pandemic's been. I thought that was many years ago.
If the first season here, this is weird. Okay, the first season was in 2016.
It takes a long time to finish those shows.
Hold on. Season 2 was in 2018.
Yes.
Season 3 was in 2020. Season 4 is going to be in 2022.
Yeah, a lot of CG.
But don't forget, we had a pandemic in there. So.
Well, that makes sense. It's every 2 years then.
Yeah.
You're right there.
I'm itching my ear.
Earworm?
Yeah. We were thinking about checking it out. Dude, there's
it's worth it. It's a good show.
Too many shows.
Anyways, one of the actors from Westworld, plays the voice of the Watcher.
Yeah.
And it's all about the Watcher saying like, there's so many multiverses that I watch. What if so and so happened? And the first one was, what if Peggy Carter took the superhero serum as opposed to Steve Rogers?
Right.
And made for probably the coolest superhero of all superheroes, in Captain Carter. She kicked more ass in one 30-minute show than any of the superheroes in Marvel have kicked in the whole time.
What are you talking about?
Come on. That one scene where she's on the back of the Iron Man robot and launches off the Iron Man robot and dives through the front of a plane.
Yeah, but
and starts kicking Nazi butt.
Miss Marvel did that. She went right through a whole plane, a whole ship.
Or the scene where she lands on the ground and she's fighting the Nazis and throwing their motorcycles around, and then like guys just start running out of the truck and she's just pegging them off as they come around the corner.
Captain America did the same thing.
Not that way though.
Not that. It was good.
The big Nazi guy comes around the corner and she kneecaps him. That right there was.
I'm glad you like that. I enjoyed it. I mean, like it's weird. It made me want to rewatch the first Captain America movie.
Yeah. It also made me sad that they did such an injustice to Peggy Carter's character
in the movies.
Not only in the movies, but her TV show as well.
Isn't her show coming back though?
It's rumored all the time that they're going to relaunch it or redo it again, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, so
I wish they would, because her show was really good and she deserves more than what she got.
You're going to be happy though, because her character is going to be a through line through the whole series. They said they're going to come back to her near the end of the season, and they're going to come back to her in season 2. So yeah, she's going to be someone they're going to come back to a lot. So I like the animation. I was a fun watch. I mean, it didn't like blow me away. I wasn't disappointed. I think I was happy. I really enjoyed it.
It was great to hear the guy who played Tony Stark's dad come back. He was great as Tony Stark's dad, as Howard Stark.
And he got the Iron Man, the whole Iron Man suit thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Iron Giant kind of looking Iron Man suit.
Yeah. But
seeing Chris Evans play like the nerdy Steve Rogers again,
right,
was cool to see that transition of him back to that character as opposed to the Captain America, because he plays him completely different.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know what people expected, because I saw one of our friends on Facebook who was just like, "Why bother?" And I was,
he doesn't like What If at all. He hates it.
But I was like,
he hates the whole concept. We had a whole talk about this on Saturday at Free Concept Day.
But hold on. Put a pin in that for a second. You know this is going to be a what if on the MCU.
Yes.
So what did you expect? That's all I got to say. I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah.
What didn't he like about it?
He just dislikes the whole concept.
So why watch it?
Because I told him to.
Oh, so he listens to everything you tell him to do?
No, because we had a huge discussion about it, and he's always poo-pooed the what if stuff. He dislikes the Marvel Zombies stuff.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
He thinks it's like useless, has nothing to do with, because when what if was like not involved in the Marvel universe, so to speak. It was all just random ideas that had nothing to do with anything, and he didn't like that.
He doesn't like imagination.
That's what I said. You don't like random thoughts. It's like it's just a place where you can. What if was a place to use superheroes but throwing them into random situations. And the reason why he doesn't like it really is because they did a what if Conan, and they bring Conan into modern times, and like he didn't like Conan and like Cars, and that's what he didn't like. So that's basically what it boils down to. Is Conan was in a what if and he didn't like it, so that makes him dislike the whole thing.
Wow.
He's Mr. Conan, so
To each their own. I mean, you knew going in this is a what if of the MCU, not a what if of just anything. It's the MCU what if. So
yeah.
So
I dug it. I'm into it. I'm excited for the next 9 episodes.
Yeah, I think it should be a fun ride, definitely.
A nice filler. It's a good, like, it's a little like I said, I enjoyed the original What Ifs, the comic books. It was
yeah,
nice,
me too.
like, little like, let's throw this random idea out. Like, what if this guy did this, or what if this happened to this person instead of that person? It's just a cool little, fun, non-thought. Just enjoy the ride.
Totally, I agree with you because I like to take a character out of its normal canon, and do something different with it, because you're like, oh, we can't make Spider-Man do this, we can't make Batman do that, but like if you can make an alternative world where they can, and I think that's kind of cool.
And I think the cool thing, the coolest part about it is that they actually got all the people to come back and play their parts. So you kind of get, like, you're getting these big movies these ideas that are like fanciful ideas made in a form that you would have been able to ever do any other way. You couldn't do like a live action version of what Captain Carter was.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense to make a whole movie if it has no ties to anything. Whereas you can do it in a what if cartoon. You could get the thing out, play it out and do things and not have to, one shot. It's a great place for one shots, basically, is what I think.
Yeah. So you're right, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And Peggy Carter, I think you're gonna get her due. She's getting her due because she'll be
I hope so. I think she deserves it. I think Haley Atwell deserves it, the actress. I think she was great in the original Captain America, and her show was really good. And I think her show just came out at the wrong time.
When did that come out?
Really early in the Marvel universe.
That was an ABC show.
It was an ABC show. It was before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So I can tell you, episode 2 of What If is going to be, it looks like it's going to be Star-Lord. And then episode 3.
Well, actually, it's
I see Loki. Loki is
T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. And it's actually Chadwick Boseman. It's one of the last things he did before he passed. He recorded the voiceovers for a couple of the What If episodes.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, so it's our last times we'll see Chadwick hear him as Black Panther.
And then episode 3 is going to be what if Loki presented himself to the Earth government as King of Asgard using all his diplomacy.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And then episode 8, which is going to be out September 29th, is the one I'm looking forward to, is going to be the infamous Marvel Zombies comics come to life in this episode. So they haven't announced what's going to be 4, 5, 6, or 7, but 8 is the zombie one. I'm so looking forward to that. And episode 9 is going to be Doctor Strange is there, but there's no description right now. So interesting. We got a nice little journey ahead of us. I'm looking forward to it. I like the animation. It's very it kind of looks computer-ish, but also has a look the old Telltale games.
Yeah.
So
games. Going back to what we were talking about right before you got into that, Agent Carter started off as a Marvel one-shot in 2013 with Haley Atwell and Bradley Whitford, who played the military guy in the What If, was actually that same character in that Marvel one-shot. And then Agent Carter TV show lasted from 2015 to 2016, 18 episodes. And that was the last we got of Agent Carter.
Wow. Well, You said a one shot, but she had a series. I thought no.
She had the one shot that came out, I think, with one of the Marvel movies.
Right.
I want to say it's Civil War, maybe.
But I thought she had a show.
Not Civil War, maybe Winter Soldier.
She didn't have a show?
Started off. Her own thing started off in the Marvel one shot.
Gotcha.
Which I remember was like a small little 15 to 20 minute thing. And then her show came out in 2015 and lasted one season, 18 episodes.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of it.
Yeah. But you can watch it on Disney Plus, right?
You can, but I think she just deserved more. I think if that show had come out later than when it did, it would have done better. Because it was still very early in Marvel doing TV.
Yeah.
So they hadn't if Peggy Carter's show came out on Disney Plus now, if they did a Peggy Carter show now on Disney Plus with the skill and talent that they're doing these other shows with, I think it would be an excellent show.
Yeah.
That was very much a Dick Tracy-ish kind of, it kind of had that Dick Tracy kind of feel, the Peggy Carter TV show.
It was like a noir sort of.
Very noirish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they are. I thought they were. There was always rumors that they're going to come back. But this is kind of it in a way. You get to see her kick butt. You excited? It's exciting.
Because what actually didn't help that show was that it went in hiatus, and then the guy who was playing Howard Stark got Preacher.
Yeah.
So he went off and did that, and so that kind of ended the show, kind of, because they didn't oh well, we just won't renew it. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Anything else?
No, I'm excited for the rest of the what ifs. I know you were just talking about the ones that they've announced, but who knows what they haven't announced, because in the beginnings of it, they show a lot of random stuff. And the trailer showed a lot of random stuff before it came out, when it first came out too. So
yeah, I don't remember exactly what was in the trailer because I watched it once. You know me in trailers. I'm like,
I know you're weird with trailers now.
I don't want to see it all, baby.
We're trailer boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a light week besides that, so not much to really delve into. Not really anything coming up for a while, movie wise. So it'll just be a lot of what if for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy to think that we're in the middle of the month already.
Yeah.
God, I feel like we're like flying here. I don't like it.
Yeah, it'll be Labor Day in no time.
Pump the brakes, baby. Pump the brakes.
I'll be 42 in no time.
Welcome to the club, baby.
No.
42. Yeah, just think, Mark. We're approaching, mid 40s, and then the big 50.
Ugh. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. They're gonna tell me I need to stop eating junk food. And
are you getting the prostate exam?
Oh no, not yet.
No, he says no.
No.
Do you have a history of colon cancer or prostate problems in your family?
Not that I know of, doctor. Thanks for asking, though.
All right. Well, you gotta make sure.
Yeah.
I gotta.
The first time I had a new doctor, so it'll be
45 is generally when they start.
Yeah, you start getting
your first colonoscopy. Probably.
Ooh, clenching as we speak.
Yeah. I will probably get one earlier than that because my grandma had cancer in her colon. Luckily, it wasn't a big deal. But because it's in my family's history, I got to be aware of that.
You do.
So yeah, I didn't know if it was in your family history at all.
Not that I know of. I know of.
Yeah. And I guess they don't do the finger in the butt anymore.
I don't. Yeah, I wonder why.
They stopped doing. I guess a lot of places stopped doing that. They do other things now.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, like when you're growing up,
leave it to your imagination what that would be.
No, they don't do that type of thing anymore. Like that was like when you're
well, it's kind of evasive. It's not like a thing that
your prostate exam, you have to bend over like Chevy
Yeah.
Chase, like hello. But now I guess they
next
ask
only. That's why
they ask a series of questions, and I think they kind of gone away. Like they don't do that so early in your life now. So
yeah.
I don't know. Getting older sucks. You
It does.
You gotta get poked and prodded, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Well, that's been a show.
It's been a show. That's what
it ended on that note.
And then kids, get your prostate exams.
You know,
get a colonoscopy. Turn your head and cough.
Are you getting a male or female doctor?
I have a male doctor.
Yeah, I have a female doctor.
Not because I'm like anti-female doctors. It's just honestly, it's because this is the closest doctor to where I live now. So I just decided to go here as opposed to anywhere else.
I think I feel more comfortable with a male. So like,
you can switch your doctor. It's you're allowed.
I know. I probably will.
It's also the thing you might have, an issue that you might have if you're more comfortable with a male doctor. It shouldn't really matter.
I think everyone's comfort level should matter. If you feel comfortable you feel more comfortable with a male doctor to tell them certain things, I think that's
very chauvinish stance, Brian, if I would do say so myself.
All right. So you have a female doctor. You're gonna be like, she's like, drop trowel. I gotta
yeah.
All right.
Rather have a guy holding your balls as opposed to a woman holding your balls?
In that scenario, maybe.
I don't really. Anyone holding my balls is awkward, so it's gonna be weird no matter who it is.
It's weird no matter what, but when it's a guy,
it's weird no matter what it is.
It's less. It's a guy.
Anytime talking about anything to anybody for me is weird. So it doesn't really matter if it's a male or a female. I'd be happy if it was like a dog that I could just talk to, and then that just records it, and then someone gets it after the fact. I'd be fine with that. Like if that was like a thing that they could do, like just come in and just have like the questions on a sheet of paper and be like, hey Rexy, I'm really having this problem and blah blah blah. And then the doctor just like gets to the information that comes in afterwards and is like, all right, well here's what you're gonna need to do. I'm like, all right, thank you, and then just walk away. And I'd be fine with that.
All right, see, there you go. See, you rather talk to a dog.
Yeah, it's just I don't want like talking to a human about my body issues or whatever. That's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, it is. That's okay.
There you go. Yeah, no matter who it is, male, female, anything. It's weird.
Fair enough. All right.
I have this lump, right? It's weird. I don't want to. Why am I bothering you? Is my thought process.
Well, they are your doctor. So
I know. It's always been weird for me going to the doctor. It's very. I'm not big on sharing. I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm not big on sharing. Like personal things. Well, with you, it's different. With you, it's different.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
I mean, with people that I don't know, like personally, like in a friend, like really closely.
Okay. Let's wrap it up. Like us on the Facebook. Like us on YouTube. We will be back next week with more Geekonomics podcast.
See y'all next week, everybody.
Oh, salute your shorts, baby.